Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back to my daily reading of Hussein's Revolution. So I'm up to page 80 in case you were following. So I'm going to continue where I left off in the last part, inshallah. Let's try and remember what Islam, the Islam that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought to the people. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Islam regarded all as equals in their shared humanity. Islam's teachings were based on the accurate view of the human race. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him and his family, had said, "The believers are brothers, they are equal in pedigree. Even the least well-off amongst them is concerned with the good of the whole." It is also narrated that he said in his farewell pilgrimage, "O people, Allah has removed from you the zeal of the age of ignorance and its pride in ancestry," as in tribalism. "You are all of Adam, and Adam is of dust. There is no preference for an Arab over a non-Arab, except that each individual may attain favor through piety." In another narration, he says, "Whoever fights under a banner of incessant vanity, outraged by, or calling for, or supporting tribalism, and was killed, he has surely faced the death of the ignorant." Allah stated that the standard of assessment for mankind in the following verse, "O mankind, indeed we created you from a male and a female, and made you nations and tribes that you may identify yourselves with one another. Indeed, the noblest of you in the sight of Allah is the most pious. Indeed, Allah is all-knowing, all-aware." In other words, we're all the same. We are not better than the other based on race or gender or nationality. We should only strive to be better than one another in piety, as in we should all strive to run towards Allah, inshallah. Islam thus called the Arabs to look into the diversity of tribes and the multitude of nations with a spirit of humanity and grace. This spirit of humanity and grace was supposed to create out of the Muslims a united nation that withstands the divisive forces of tribal infighting. It connected followers through the brotherhood and sisterhood of Islam. It attempted to turn all Muslims, regardless of language and nationality, into one united family. They would be united by faith, aspirations, and destiny. The Prophet ﷺ spent his life attempting to instill this notion in the hearts and minds of the Muslims by word and by action. The concept began to take life in their minds. Imam Ali ﷺ followed in the Prophet's footsteps. He reinforced this concept with his words and actions during his life, especially in the face of the clear tribal tendencies that emerged at the time of Uthman. To this day, we still feel the heat of Imam Ali's patience in his struggle against the resurgence of these tendencies. The surviving primary sources that have been preserved through history, though few in quantity, draw for us a clear picture of Imam Ali's vision and his attitude towards tribalism. He saw tribalism as a true threat to the Muslim nation. The clearest of these sources is a sermon by the name of Al-Qasiyah, a significant piece that best illustrates his views. The sermon is called Al-Qasiyah, means the disparaging sermon, because it disparaged all pride, vainglory, and tribalism. Of course, Imam Ali ﷺ was above making any disparaging remarks about anyone, but historians gave it that name for its sharp criticism. In the sermon, Imam Ali ﷺ described the pride of Satan and warned listeners not to fall prey to similar tendencies. He summarized all this in a few words, and these are the words that came from the sermon. In the same way, the rich among the prosperous communities were vain because of their riches. They would say, "We have greater wealth and more children, and we will not be punished." That's from the Quran, chapter 34, ayah number 35. But if you cannot avoid pride, place your pride in good qualities, praiseworthy acts, and admirable matters. These are traits with which the dignified and noble chiefs of the Arab families distinguished themselves, such as attractive manners, high thinking, respectable position, and good performances. So you can find that sermon in Nahj al-Balagha, sermon number 192. As for Muawiyah, he employed these tribal tendencies on the battlefield. By words and actions, he rekindled the old rivalries between Arab tribes. This ensured the loyalty of tribal chieftains, as he was able to employ tribes against each other whenever he wished. He also stirred racism amongst the Arabs against anyone who is not an Arab. The term Mawali was coined to humiliate and degrade all non-Arab Muslims, such as myself. During the caliphate of Imam Ali, Muawiyah used espionage to agitate tribal tendencies within Iraq, driving tribal chieftains against Imam Ali. He would entice Iraqi chieftains with the privileges that he provided in the Levant, a system more preferable to them than Imam Ali's egalitarian rule.